Gene Hackman built a reputation for disappearing into roles so convincingly that audiences forgot they were watching an actor. From hard-nosed detectives to cunning criminals, he dominated Hollywood for decades, earning 2 Oscars and respect in every corner of the film industry. But as quickly as he rose to the top, he vanished, abandoning the bright lights for a quieter path. Why did he walk away? And what happened to the fiery spirit that defined him on and off camera? The unsettled childhood Hackman's story begins on January 30, 1930, in San Bernardino, California, a far cry from the stability you might imagine for a future icon. His parents, Eugene Ezra Hackman and Anna Elizabeth Gray, moved often, searching for better opportunities. They finally settled in Danville, Illinois, where Gene spent most of his youth. Yet any sense of normal family life soon unraveled. When Hackman was just 13, his father left for good with barely more than a wave goodbye. That single event shattered his childhood. With a mother who struggled to hold things together, Gene found solace at the local movie theater. He adored James Cagney's no-nonsense style and soaked up every film he could find, never suspecting he would someday stand among Hollywood's greatest. But tragedy hit even harder when Hackman's mother later passed away in a house fire. Weight of losing both parents, one through abandonment and the other to a devastating accident, gave him a resilience that would shape the way he approached life. Instead of wallowing in grief, he channeled his restless energy into an unexpected decision, lying about his age to enlist in the Marines at just 16. An unlikely path to acting. As a Marine, Hackman served as a field radio operator, hopping from China to Japan and then Hawaii, constantly towing the line between discipline and rebellion. Once free of the Corps, he drifted from one odd job to another: radio announcer, shoe salesman, even a brief stint in college studying journalism. Still, something was missing. Then came the Pasadena Playhouse, and with it, an official label: least likely to succeed. Hackman, approaching 30, was deemed too old, too rough, too unconventional for stardom. He found an ally in a similarly dismissed classmate named Dustin Hoffman. Neither man fit Hollywood's leading man mold, yet they shared an unbreakable determination to prove everyone wrong. The pair eventually moved to New York, scraping by on small theater gigs and humbling roles. At one point, Hoffman even camped out in Hackman's cramped apartment longer than planned, forcing Hackman to nudge him toward more independent digs. This period was marked by failures, but also by unstoppable grit that set the stage for Hackman's breakthrough, an opportunity that arrived with surprising speed. Climbing to the top in 1967, Warren Beatty, who remembered Hackman's performance in the film Lilith, cast him in Bonnie and Clyde. Hackman played Buck Barrow, brother to Beatty's character Clyde. Audiences saw something unmistakable in Hackman's intense portrayal, enough that he earned his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. This was merely a taste of what was to come. Hackman's unrelenting drive fueled him through projects that quickly escalated his reputation. The biggest turning point arrived with The French Connection in 1971. Stepping into the shoes of Popeye Doyle, an obsessive, rough-around-the-edges detective, Hackman delivered a gritty performance that snagged him an Oscar for Best Actor. In a matter of years, he had gone from least likely to succeed to one of the most respected talents in Hollywood. The next decades brought a whirlwind of iconic roles. Hackman battled disaster at sea in The Poseidon Adventure, took on the shadowy world of surveillance in The Conversation, and even cornered Superman as the cunning Lex Luthor. Whether as a villain or a hero, he brought a relentless authenticity that kept audiences spellbound. Off-screen, however, life was not so smooth. Trials, tribulations, and tense moments. Behind the glamour of the Academy Awards and adoring fans, Hackman faced a more tumultuous personal world. He and his first wife, Faye Maltese, had 3 children, but he was often away for filming. The constant travel and long absences drove a wedge into the marriage. They eventually divorced, leaving Hackman wrestling with guilt and regret over how fame had intruded on family. Even outside his home life, his fiery spirit occasionally led to real-world conflict. One infamous traffic incident in 2001 turned physical after Hackman rear-ended another car. Tempers flared when the other driver hurled an anti-gay slur, and Hackman, a former Marine who'd had enough, landed a few punches. Both men walked away with bruised egos, neither filing charges, but the incident reinforced Hackman's reputation. Even in his 70s, he was not someone you wanted to provoke. Health issues also came knocking. Heart trouble forced him to undergo angioplasty in the early 90s, prompting a short break from acting. The scare made him reconsider his punishing schedule. While fans kept clamoring for more of his on-screen magic, Hackman began to imagine a different life. The Great Exit and a life reimagined in 2004, seemingly at the top of his game, Hackman made an unexpected decision. He walked away from Hollywood. His final film, Welcome to Mooseport, went unnoticed by many as a definitive farewell. But for Hackman, it marked the start of a new identity, novelist and man of leisure. He moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, with his second wife, Betsy Arakawa, embracing a quiet routine far from the paparazzi. Writing became his new passion. Working on historical fiction and Western novels allowed him to lose himself in stories without the pressure of cameras. He found comfort in daily tasks, like driving to the local hardware store or watering plants, forging a fresh sense of fulfillment that had nothing to do with red carpets. Still, the old Hackman spirit hadn't disappeared entirely. He proved it in 2012 when a vehicle struck him during a Florida bike ride, sending him to the hospital. Months later, another confrontation erupted when a younger man insulted Hackman's wife outside a restaurant in Santa Fe. In a swift response, Hackman, well into his 80s, slapped the man. Police later confirmed he acted in self-defense. Under the radar yet. Still a legend, unsurprisingly, Hackman is occasionally spotted around Santa Fe, living a life that's worlds apart from Hollywood glitz. One fan was stunned to see the Oscar winner rolling up to a local gas station in a Toyota Tundra, hardly the flashy convertible you'd expect from a movie star. But that's Hackman in a nutshell, practical, blunt, and never too concerned about impressing people. For truck enthusiasts, it's a detail that adds another layer to his persona. The Tundra is robust, packing a sturdy V8 engine, off-road modifications, and the reliability Hackman values. Like the actor himself, it's built for endurance and low-key grit rather than showy extravagance. This is the Gene Hackman the world rarely sees, an unassuming, fiercely independent spirit satisfied with life on his own terms. Even though he's drifted away from the cameras, fans can feel his presence in every rerun of Hoosiers or Unforgiven. His robust performances remain carved into cinematic history, a reminder that once a star like Hackman ascends, that glow never truly fades. Conclusion: Gene Hackman's journey underscores the unpredictable blend of talent, tenacity, and personal sacrifice it takes to reach the peak of Hollywood, and the toll that success can exact on a private life. From surviving a fractured childhood to dominating the screen and then choosing a quieter path, Hackman demonstrated that real strength often lies in knowing when to step away. Perhaps that's his ultimate lesson. The determination that once drove him to master acting now fuels his creative writing and everyday pursuits in Santa Fe. Whether you remember him as Popeye Doyle or Lex Luthor, Hackman's influence lingers, well beyond his retirement. His story challenges us to reconsider what true achievement looks like, and whether the greatest triumph might be finding peace after the curtain falls.